months. She came from Afghanistan.
We are coming in here because we want a future, and we are waiting because Moria is building again.
You don't want to go back to Moria?
No, I don't want.
She said she wanted to go to Germany to have a future, to build a life.
I want to go to Germany, France, like country I can make a future.
There's just so much human energy and potential among these people that no country will accept. And they're stuck in some of the worst conditions. And the other thought was that precisely because no country will accept them, Moria, which was supposed to be this transitory place, will never really be a transitory place. There's always going to be these places where hopes end rather than begin. Well, thank you so much, Martina. Thanks for having me. Martina Stevis-Gridneff covers the European Union for the New York Times.
The Daily is supported by Fidelity Wealth Management, where advisors work with their clients to develop flexible investment strategies that evolve as their needs change. Fidelity.com/wealth. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. And by X-Chair, maker of the X-Chair home office chairs with dynamic variable lumbar support and 10 ergonomic features to fit users of different shapes and sizes at xchair.com or 8444-XChair. And by American Public Media.
The Daily is powered by the journalism of the New York Times and is distributed by APM, American Public Media. You can go deeper into the stories you hear on The Daily at nytimes.com/thedaily. That's it for The Daily. I'm Megan Toohey. See you tomorrow.
Extreme weather over in the UK has meant that British wheat farmers are facing their worst crop yields in decades. And that, in turn, has meant
The price of wheat has gone up over the last 6 months, and now it's reached the point where we can't afford to keep selling flour at the price that we are.
I'm Colin Risdall. Wheat, climate change, the price of bread.
About 58% included married couples, the rest unmarried partners. Sharita Gruberg, who studies LGBTQ issues at the Center for American Progress, says this new data doesn't capture all kinds of relationships, some trans or bisexual couples, for example, but it's still good to have.
Federal data is incredibly important for how Congress decides to allocate money for programs.
For instance, says Rose Kreider, a family demographer at the Census Bureau.
Federal agencies that have programs that they administer based on marital status, you need this information in order to accurately predict who's going to be using certain programs.
The census found that same-sex couples participate in the labor force at a higher rate than opposite-sex couples, almost 85% compared to just over 80%. One possible reason?
LGBTQ folks suffer from an income gap as compared to their heterosexual, cisgender peers.
Spencer Watson runs the Center for LGBTQ Economic Advancement and Research.
The higher labor force participation is likely reflecting the fact that they have to work more in order to make comparable amount of earnings.
The new information in the survey could help educate employers, says Kristen Brody, Policy Director of the Brookings Institution's Hamilton Project.
So this gives them that information without people having to have conversations that they may or may not want to have at work.
And that, says Brody, can help inform training around diversity and inclusion. In Washington, I'm Kimberly Adams for Marketplace.
On Wall Street today, varying degrees of not so great. We'll have the details when we do the numbers. One of the many things that's weird about this coronavirus economy is how it's hitting some industries real hard, some industries almost not at all, and then some industries real hard at first, but now much less so. Housing falls into that last category, so we have called the mortgage broker here in LA, who we know. Vivian Geller is a partner at Pacific Trust Group. Vivian, it's good to have you back on.
Hi, Kai. Thanks for having me back on.
So what a difference 6 months make, right? We talked to you in March at the beginning of all this, and suffice it to say it was not looking great in real estate and mortgages. Open houses being canceled, all of that stuff. How's it been?
It's been crazy, Kai. Yeah, it's definitely been a crazy last 6 months, and quite honestly, it's gone in a totally different direction than I would have anticipated. The market's completely picked up. We're at record lows in interest rates, which is fueling the real estate market, and in fact, it's been busier than ever.
Who is buying houses now? Because it seems to me that makes a difference, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's we're seeing borrowers that are salaried, well prepared to buy houses. It's a little more difficult for self-employed borrowers right now because the banks are doing an extra level of due diligence to make sure that these self-employed borrowers qualify for the loans. They're asking for business bank statements, and they want to see those deposits going into the business. So it's been tough for those that are self-employed, but if you're salaried and you have a W-2 job, it's not so bad.
But the problem, of course, is that so many people are self-employed or in the gig economy, and I imagine you must have conversations with your would-be clients to say, I'm sorry, we can't do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially here in Los Angeles, where we have a huge population that's self-employed. It makes it really hard, especially people in production, that are not working right now. So it's been very difficult for both refinances and for purchases. I basically have to tell them that we're just going to have to wait until work picks back up for them.
Well, let's get to the until part, right? Because there's a lot wrapped up in that phrase. As you know, Jay Powell said yesterday, interest rates are going to be low as far as the eye can see. The pandemic is still in control of this economy. Suss out your business for me for the next, year, 18 months?
Yeah, I think it's going to continue to be really busy. As long as interest rates stay low, it's going to be very, very busy. The banks are probably going to continue to make it a little tough for self-employed borrowers. Some banks have actually already said that the self-employed borrowers have to bring larger down payments in to qualify. So it may be difficult for those borrowers, but the low interest rates are going to continue to fuel the real estate market, no question.
With the caveat here that you are in Los Angeles, a major metropolitan metropolitan area. I'm sure you have colleagues in other parts of the country. What are you seeing of this phenomenon that we keep hearing about, of people ditching big cities and saying, you know what, I can work from anywhere. I don't have to be here where real estate is high. I'm going to move to Ottumwa, Iowa.
Absolutely true. We've seen so many clients here move to Palm Springs and Santa Barbara. So yes, we're seeing a lot of that, but we're seeing that happen in San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles. People are just moving to where they want to be, not necessarily in a big city.
Vivian Geller, she's at the Pacific Trust Group here in LA. Vivian, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kai. Thanks so much.
Talking real estate as we were, 2.87% is the number. The average interest rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage in the United States as of today. That's according to Freddie Mac. 1 year ago, for those who are curious, nearly a full percentage point higher, 3.7%, 3.73 technically. So mortgage lenders, well, according to the CFPB, the top mortgage lender in America is Rocket Companies, Rocket Mortgage and Quicken Loans. Shares gave up 0.6%. Today you're listening to Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Hint, fruit-infused water with no calories or sweeteners.